Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our Kapnick Strive October webinar. Today, we are going to be discussing superfoods and how you can incorporate them more frequently into your diet. Starting right off the bat, we want to define a little bit what we mean by superfood. So the word superfood itself has become pretty ubiquitous across our popular media these days as the secret to good health, longevity, cancer prevention, weight loss, and even happiness. If you just search up superfoods, you'll be bombarded with promises that these foods can cure just about anything. A few of them that you might be kind of familiar with as superfoods would be things like acai, goji berries, chia seeds, and quinoa. And a lot of these products have a high price tag to pay for, the way that they've been glamorized. And it can be kind of difficult to sift through, which of them might be a great addition to your diet versus which are just pure marketing hype. The term superfood itself is really just more of a marketing phrase for foods that may benefit your health in some way, rather than a Food and Drug Administration or FDA regulated term with specific labeling criteria. Essentially, this just means that there's no actual standard that it has to meet when you call a food a superfood. The earliest recorded example we have of a superfood may have taken place around World War I, where the United Fruit Company actually used bananas in an advertising campaign. So initially, the company advertised the practicality of bananas in a daily diet for being cheap, being nutritious, easily digested, available everywhere, and also coming in, a germ-proof package by nature. To get people to eat them more frequently, they suggested adding bananas in cereal for breakfast and salads for lunch, and also fried with meat for dinner. The popularity of the term superfoods really soared after being endorsed in medical journals due to physicians publishing their findings of this banana diet to treat conditions like celiac disease and diabetes. In addition, the American Medical Association announced that bananas in a child's diet would provide relief for celiac disease or even cure it. And this was before gluten had been discovered as the true culprit of celiacs. Bananas, because of this advertising campaign and because of these articles published in medical journals, soon became an emblem of health, and mothers made bananas a dietary staple for their children and infants, even if those children did not have celiac disease. This really, like I said, that advertisement where bananas were promoted for their health benefits by the United Fruit Company, and then, just the popular press kind of picking that up, it created this banana diet craze. And we still see this happen today, but it's especially exacerbated by the fact that we, have social media to spread things at a viral speed. So we do really see, new superfoods appearing on a monthly basis. In 2015 alone, there was a 36% increase globally in the number of foods and beverages launched that were labeled as a superfood, superfruit, or super grain. So if we dig a little bit deeper to find out what a superfood actually is, it would really just be something that per bite is packed with nutrients that add to your health and not detract from your health. So really, in theory, superfoods are nutrient-dense foods and beverages with health benefits that have been scientifically studied to reduce your risk for developing certain diseases. It's also important to note that while, a lot of these foods can help reduce your risk for several diseases, they can't cure any ailment on their own. And superfoods really, they don't have to be these ingredients that we've never heard of. They can be everyday fruits and vegetables, things like kale, beets, carrots, and tomatoes. So with all the examples of superfoods that we'll walk through, we just want to kind of put a disclaimer out that, we really don't want to put any food item on a pedestal. It's important to think about, why certain foods are being glorified, who's glorifying them, and whether it's even, a great choice for you and to add into your diet. So we're going to go through some of our favorite superfoods, but just remember that no food itself is perfect, and eating more of any singular food is not always the answer. You can absolutely enjoy all of these foods, but we would recommend refraining from, kind of hyperfixating on any one food product and then subsequently cutting every other food product out. So again, be a critical consumer, don't buy into every claim, and recognize, what is a good choice for you and maybe what's not. The first superfood we're going to discuss is leafy greens. So leafy greens have been very highly studied when it comes to their cancer-fighting properties, blood clotting properties, and their ability to improve bone health. And this really just comes from those vitamins and minerals that leafy greens are packed with. So things like vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, folate, and iron. Spinach actually has about 181% of your daily value for vitamin K, which plays a really significant role in bone health. It increases bone mineral density to decrease your risk for fractures. And vitamin K also helps process clotting factors that help to clot blood, which is essential for wound healing. Some of the most common leafy greens that you will be able to buy at a grocery store would be kale, collard greens, spinach, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. Some leafy greens do have a bitter taste, and not everyone necessarily enjoys them plain. So you can definitely get creative on incorporating them into your diet. Of course, you can always, throw them in salads, steam them, saute them, and roast them. But you can also find some more creative additions. So, incorporating them in your soups and stews and smoothies, stir fries and curries. They are a really versatile food product and great to add into your diet. Salmon is our next superfood. As most of you likely know, salmon is a highly nutritious fish that's packed with a lot of healthy fats, protein, B vitamins, potassium, and selenium. It's one of the best sources we have of omega-3 fatty acids, and those omega-3s are known for a variety of health benefits, including reducing inflammation in the body. One thing to note about those omega-3s is that our body actually doesn't produce them on its own, which is why it's so important to incorporate them into our diet for our overall health. Omega-3 fats have been shown to keep heartbeats normal, which prevents it from going into an irregular heartbeat and also preventing potential cardiovascular complications. If you're not a seafood person, there are also plenty of ways that you can get more omega-3s through other sources. First off, through things like algae or seaweed, those leafy greens, again, like we talked about in the last slide, nuts, seeds, oils, tofu, and some other foods like summer squash, ground cloves, ground oregano, mustard seeds, Brussels sprouts. So there are plenty of ways that you can get more omega-3s in your diet. Our next superfood is nuts. So, these can often be overlooked as for the nutritional properties that they have. They're a really good snack food, and they also contain high amounts of monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids, so those healthy fats that are really good for our heart health. People who eat nuts as a part of their diet can also lower their LDL cholesterol, so that's that bad cholesterol that we want to keep low. And that LDL is a main factor in developing heart disease because it does encourage plaque buildup in the heart. Nuts are also high in protein and fiber, which can help you feel fuller longer and can be a really helpful tool if you are looking to lose weight. And while there's nothing wrong with just grabbing a handful of, walnuts, almonds, or pistachios, there's also a lot of great ways to incorporate them into your everyday dishes. For example, one option would be crushing up nuts and crusting your proteins with them. So crusting salmon or chicken in nuts, that's just a great way to kind of skip the breadcrumbs, swap it out, while also getting your omega-3 fatty acids. Another great way to incorporate more nuts is through a pesto. Pesto is a really versatile spread that you can use on your sandwiches, on top of lean meats, fish and poultry, or even as a dip. Again, some common nuts and seeds include almonds, pecans, pistachios, walnuts, cashews, macadamia, peanuts, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds. And again, there are a few different ways you can get the most out of these foods. You can eat them raw, you can roast them, eat alone, or as a topping on your food, or some of the other creative ways that we mentioned. Our next superfood is olive oil. So olive oil is a natural oil that is extracted from the fruit of olive trees, and it's also one of the key components of the Mediterranean diet. Olive oil's biggest claim to health are its high levels of monounsaturated fatty acids and polyphenolic compounds. Adding olive oil to your diet may reduce inflammation in the body and also your risk of certain illnesses like heart disease and diabetes. It also contains antioxidants like vitamin E and K, which can protect against cellular damage from oxidative stress. Some ways that you could incorporate olive oil into your diet would include using it as a seasoning, so on top of foods to give it a little bit more flavor, if you do like the flavor of olive oil. You can use it in dressings and fresh homemade salad dressings. You can use it to cook or saute or even bake. And legumes. So legumes are a class of plant foods, and included in that category includes beans, including soybeans, lentils, peas, peanuts, and alfalfa. So we've given legumes the superfood label because they're loaded with nutrients and also play a role in preventing and managing various diseases. Legumes are a really great source of B vitamins, of various minerals, of protein and fiber as well. Research indicates that they offer many health benefits like improved type 2 diabetes management, as well as reduced blood pressure and cholesterol. So because of that high protein and fiber content as well, eating beans and legumes regularly may also promote healthy weight maintenance, just because it helps increase those feelings of fullness. Some examples of legumes that you might commonly eat would be black beans, pinto beans, garbanzo beans, and hummus, lentils, kidney beans, and peas. And some of the ways that you can incorporate them would be, a great option in your soups or stews, roasted, or as a salad mix-in just to create a more filling meal. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Lexi to take it over for our next superfoods.
Thanks, Emma. We are now onto our next superfood, which is berries. Now, this is a nutritional powerhouse of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and antioxidants. Some of these berry superpowers include being a good source of vitamin C, which helps to promote a healthy immune system. It's good bang for your buck, and when it comes to fiber and sugar. For fruit, you can eat a lot, over a cup per serving, and keeping your sugar down and that fiber up, leaving you feeling satisfied with a well-balanced blood sugar. Berries are also effective in treating various digestive and immune-related disorders when alongside traditional medical therapies. Some of the most common berries that you've probably already heard of are raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, cranberries. And the blue hue in blueberries is due to their anthocyanin content. This is a powerful antioxidant that helps fight free radicals in the body that can cause damage to our body cells. This makes them a great addition to any diet to help lower the risk of heart disease and cancer. Berries are also great by themselves, but you can also put them in yogurt, blended in smoothies, baked in muffins, reduced into sauces, and incorporated into savory dishes. And remember, berries are naturally sweet, so there's no reason to add a lot of sugar when you cook with them. Onto sweet potatoes. This is a root vegetable that's loaded with many nutrients, including potassium, fiber, vitamin A, and C. The vitamin A helps support healthy eyes. They're also a great source of carotenoids, which is a type of antioxidant that may help reduce your risk of certain types of cancer. And despite their sweet flavor, sweet potatoes don't increase blood sugar as much as you might expect. Interestingly, they may improve blood sugar control in those with type 2 diabetes. It's also a great source of fiber, which fills you up and keeps you regular. And yes, I am talking about bowel movements. And we can thank the fiber content in sweet potatoes, which can improve our gut health. Some examples of these sweet potatoes include jewel, garnet, and purple sweet potatoes. They are also very versatile, so you can pretty much cook them any way you can imagine. You can bake them, boil them, mash them, grill them, stir fry, and air fry. On to avocados. Now, this is a highly nutritious fruit. Yes, I said fruit, although it is often treated more like a vegetable. It is rich in many nutrients, including fiber, vitamins, minerals, and healthy fats. Now, we've been talking about fats quite a bit in this presentation. So when I say healthy fats, I'm referring to monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. Unhealthy fats, or fats that you should limit, include saturated or trans fats. Now, if you're asking yourself, okay, but what does this look like? Just remember, healthy fats are liquid at room temperature, and fats that you should limit are solid at room temperature, like butter or cooled bacon grease. And eating foods that are rich in trans fat increase the amount of LDL cholesterol, or that bad cholesterol, in the bloodstream, and reduces the amount of that good HDL cholesterol. Trans fat can create inflammation, which is linked to heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. Some other sources of saturated or trans fat include red meat, whole milk, and other whole milk dairy foods like cheese, coconut oil, and many commercially prepared baked goods and other foods. Healthy sources of fat can come from fruits, vegetables, nuts, and legumes, and fish. But we're talking about avocados here, so let's go back to that. Avocados are a source of those healthy fats and are high in monounsaturated fats. Oleic acid is the most predominant monounsaturated fat in avocado, which is linked to reduce inflammation in the body and can help stabilize blood sugar and prevent heart disease. And eating avocados may reduce your risk of heart disease, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and certain types of cancer. And finally, it's also a good source of potassium, which supports healthy blood pressure and especially good for those that have a high sodium diet. Now it's quiz time. True or false? All types of wheat bread are better for you than white breads. What do you think? The answer is false. Not all wheat breads are created equal. Wheat breads that contain all parts of the grain kernel, including the nutrient-rich germ and fiber-dense bran, must be labeled whole grain or whole wheat. Some wheat breads are just white bread with a little bit of caramel coloring to make the bread appear healthier. So make sure when you're picking out breads, you are reading the ingredient list, which is located near the nutrition label. Which brings us to our next superfood, whole grains. They provide protein, fiber, vitamin E, polyphenols, B vitamins, and other host of phytonutrients that help lower the risk of numerous chronic diseases. This helps them easily trump their paler processed counterparts, and not everyone enjoys the taste of brown versus white rice or whole grain breads versus white breads, but most people can warm up to the nutty flavor of whole grains if you just give them a fair chance. There's also a great source of both soluble and insoluble fiber that helps you keep full and satisfied thanks to its fiber content. They've also been shown to lower cholesterol, protect against heart disease, and help to maintain a healthy blood sugar. Now, when I say soluble and insoluble fiber, you might go, what does that mean? Just know soluble fiber is what helps you keep full, and insoluble fiber is what helps you keep regular. So you can include them by having a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast. You can also substitute bulgur, quinoa, wheat berries, or brown rice for your usual baked potato. And as a reminder, when buying breads at the supermarket, look to see that the first ingredient is 100% whole wheat flour. And on to fermented foods. Fermentation is the process that involves bacteria and yeast breaking down sugars. And not only does fermentation help enhance food preservation, but eating fermented foods can also boost the number of beneficial bacteria or probiotics found in your gut. Probiotics have been associated with a variety of health benefits, including improved digestion, reduced cholesterol, lowered blood pressure, better immunity, anti-inflammatory effects, and even increased weight loss. Some examples of fermented or probiotic-rich foods include kefir, yogurt, sauerkraut, kombucha, kimchi, tempeh, and miso. And as a reminder, or as a note, if you're just starting out with introducing fermented foods into your meals or snacks, please start slowly. And lastly, this is a favorite superfood of many people, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has been found to help lower blood pressure in multiple research studies, including those listed in the Journal of the American Medical Association. This is made possible by the cocoa phenols And this high antioxidant content in dark chocolate makes it another great choice for fighting those free radicals in the body. Dark chocolate is also rich in magnesium, which helps to regulate muscle and nerve function. So think of things like sleep, anxiety, and heart health. And the hormone serotonin is dependent on that magnesium. So yes, that is the happy hormone. And serotonin helps to relax the nervous system and elevates mood, which is one of the reasons why we feel so good when we eat chocolate. And make sure when you are looking for that dark chocolate at the supermarket, please make sure that it's at least 70% cocoa. Another true or false question: drinking fruit juice is just as beneficial as eating fruit. What do you think? The answer is false, and that is because whole fruit provides more nutritional benefits than just drinking the pure juice of that fruit. And that's because when you liquefy fruit, you are stripping away the peel and you're dumping the pulp. They contain little dietary fiber compared with the whole fruits. Whole fruits satisfy appetite better than juices, thereby helping people to limit their food energy intakes. Now, has anyone here ever tried to make their own apple juice or orange juice before? On average, it takes about 3 to 6 apples or about 2 to 4 oranges to make an 8-ounce glass. Now, drinking juice is a lot easier, but if you've ever tried to eat 3 to 6 apples or 2 to 4 oranges, it could be a challenge, or you end up being very full, and that's because of that dietary fiber, which helps you feel fuller. So, what is the bottom line? These are just a sampling of foods that we think are super. And remember that the word superfood is not a regulated term. Achieving optimal health through food and nutrition is about more than just focusing on one or two of the latest food trends. There are a lot of helpful foods out there. So instead of hyper focusing on one or two food trends, good health is best supported by eating a variety of nutritious foods every day. The general healthful diet may be lower in sodium and fat than many diets. It's higher in fiber because of the focus on whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. The protein sources included limited amounts of red meat, with more protein coming in from fish, poultry, and vegetable sources like beans and peas, as well as low fat or fat free dairy products. And saturated fat and trans fat are also minimized as much as possible, as are sugary drinks and desserts. So how can you incorporate this into your everyday meals? Number one, start small. Instead of a complete diet overhaul, make small changes to what you eat and drink that will work for you now and in the future. If you drink a pop or a soda every day, try drinking half a pop or soda and make the other half water. Two, take one day at a time. Sometimes things don't go as planned, as we know with life. So if you miss a day, that's okay. Just start right back up again. Three, pick activities you enjoy. If you focus on having fun or learning a new skill that interests you, you're more likely to stick with it. Have you always wanted to try a new recipe or using a new kitchen gadget like an Instapot or air fryer? Now is the time to try it. Four, team up. Find a friend with similar goals, swap healthy recipes, and be active together. Staying on track is easier with support and having a cheerleader by your side. And finally, celebrate those successes. Think of each change as a win as you build those positive habits and find ways to reach your goals. Reward yourself. You've definitely earned it. And finally, I also wanted to share a couple of resources with you that you can download onto your phone. The first is the Start Simple with My Plate app to pick simple daily food goals, see real-time progress, receive simple and practical tips to support your goals, and earn badges along the way. This easy-to-use app can help you make those positive changes. And secondly, for those of you that do have access to, is your wellness portal. You have access to track all your wellness activities, earn points, connect your Fitbit, Google, or Apple Watch, have the ability to use a health risk calculator, and much more. And finally, thank you everyone for attending this session. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Thanks, everyone. See you next month.